I've got a G1 Guzzle all the way from Vigadeth up in Scotland land. Let's take a closer look. So here he is in his nice little chunky tank mode. There's a good lot of detail going on here. I wasn't expecting this much for a G1 guy like this, but there's like loads of stuff on the top of his tank mode and not so much on the sides. That's the only sticker remnant left on him. I'd say I'd get some repro labels for him, but I bet they don't make them because there's only 2 stickers on him. But yeah, he's not in the best of nick, but like this, he's not that bad. Yeah, I like it. Good, chunky, just a thick tank, like tanks should be. His turret goes round, and it goes up and down. What more do you want? Although I have to say, it does rather look like something has been chewing on the end of that turret. Remember kids, putting your mouth around the turret of a tank is a bad idea. Of course, Guzzle is one of them Sparker bots from G1, where you roll him along and sparks would fly out the back, but they totally don't anymore. I think the main problem is that the black wheel here, which gives you the grip to put it along a surface, actually sort of runs free of this gear that is actually what drives the mechanism. So you've got to really go hard to really get any friction going, and let's face it, it's been 20 odd years. All the flint and stuff inside there is probably knackered to hell. But that won't stop me trying! Come on, I want to set someone on fire! Anyway, there's Guzzle's tank mode. I gotta say, the first thing that I noticed about it was that it's not green. For some reason I've always thought that Guzzle was green, and turns out he's just not. He's this sort of, I don't know, desaturated tone. I mean, even in like Last Stand of the Wreckers, I'm sure he was green, but then looking back at it, he's not. So why do I think he is? Blame this guy. It's Dark of the Moon Cyberverse Guzzle, who is a nice healthy shade of army tank green, and you know, put him next to him. It's pretty obvious this is just a weird dark grey that is ever so slightly a greenish earthen tinge. This guy seems to have clouded my judgment a bit. Let's have a bit of an old and new comparison though while I've got him out. You see, there's a nice lot of sort of matching of detail going on here. All this sort of stuff on the top with the opening, what are they? Portholes? No, not portholes on a tank, just doors and things and bits to look out of and lights and bits and pieces. I really ought to learn the anatomy of a tank, shouldn't I? So overall I can now see that this is a pretty good update of this, but it doesn't really capture the girth of G1 Guzzle, does it? This guy still feels a little bit bigger, but I don't know. Something you might not know, the C313 on the back end of Dark of the Moon Guzzle there is a reference to the number that old Guzzle would have had in the Takara line. He was the 313th Autobot, apparently. Okay, not much more to say about tank mode. Let's transform him. Oh, it's such a difficult one, this. Oh, it's so incredibly hard. Yeah, he's literally just pull apart and raise his arms kind of guy. Yeah, can't say the transformation really wins me over there, but it's G1, you can't make fun. So now we've got this mostly sort of white, slightly tan robot. Yeah, he looks okay, but the first thing I seem to notice, apart from the nice sort of detail and vintitude on his chest there, is that what's going on with his thighs. Presumably the bit that is exposed when you extend him down here are his thighs, and well, they're rather close together, don't you think? He seems to be lacking crotch there. How does he move? What is going on with his legs? The more I look at that, the more weird it looks. So I don't know, let's just look at his top half. He's got a decent blue face there with a few lines and things, but his eyes are just sort of drowned out. Maybe the rest of his face is actually just coloured by his tears because he can only move his arms that far, and that is the limit of his articulation. So yeah, Guzzle's just a chunky little box bot with minor detail, and he doesn't even have any brain bullet firing guns. What disappointment. No, to be honest, I quite like him. There's something just nice about having a really simple, chunky little tank bloke like this. Although it's pretty clear that there is a lot of room for improvement. I mean, looking at his arms, he's got these holes up here, and I just think surely that should be where some wheels are to let him roll in tank mode, because he totally doesn't roll, he just scrapes it on the ground. And you can sort of see the wear on the treads up there where he's just been scraped for an eternity. Bringing in Dark of the Moon Guzzle, of course I'm going to say I prefer him more, because let's face it, he has some legs. Yeah, this guy just drips infinitely good detail, and well, he's good and everything, and improved, and you know, actually has some wheels and can move his arms properly. I still really do like old G1 Guzzle there. There's a bit of charm to it. G1 Guzzle then, probably the epitome of old school chunk like this. He's really simple, yeah, but I think there's a nice bit of character in there with him. And especially if you can get one where his sparking thing does still work by some sort of miracle, then, well, you've made a good little purchase. Wreckers combine! Addendum! After I filmed that review, well, it's been a couple of days now, I've been able to sort of loosen up the mechanism in Guzzle here, I think. I don't know, well, probably not loosen up, but just sort of break in, and he does seem to be sparking a bit better now, so hopefully, if the camera can pick it up, I'll be able to show that to you now. Oh, veritable tongues of flame leaping out the back of this tank. Oh, I can see what these stickers are missing now. That's exactly where you want to be gripping the thing to make it spark. It's a little bit like hard work, I've got to say, but there we go, proof that the gimmick does still work. Rock and roll!